Yep, the earth is flat. But that's why they took these books out. Amongst other things, there's a million reasons why they took these books out, but a big reason is because they don't want us to know the truth. If more people would read books like these, this is the Ethiopian Bible with the full, complete 88 books in it. None of the books are removed. We would know. More people would know. Now, a lot of people ask me, like, why would they lie to us about the shape of the earth? It's pretty simple. It's a lot easier to believe that there's no God when we believe we live on a globe, because then we believe we're just a speck flying through infinite space. But when we understand the truth, that we are actually God's footstool, and right underneath his feet, we are the center of his attention. When we understand that the earth is flat, we almost have to accept that creation needs a creator. Something has to create something. If there's creation, there is a creator. And when we have this globe idea, it's easier to push the idea that something in space just exploded and now here we are. So yeah, the lie that we live on a globe is to push the agenda that there is no God. Y'all need to read. Y'all need to really, if you want the truth, you have to seek for it. You know? You gotta look for it. It's just all there is to it. If you want the truth, go find it.
So prior to Jesus, there was no such thing as a Bible. They had scriptures and they had scrolls, but they did not have a canon Bible. It is referred to, though, as the Book of Prophecy by John. And Ethiopia is one of the very first places Christianity began. It was taught by Matthew, Andrew, and Philip. Enoch is also mentioned in Genesis, Hebrews, Luke, and Jude. So why did they leave Enoch out? I'm about to show you. Because it's for us. This was written for us to read. Why did they remove the Book of Enoch? Why did they remove so many other books? What do you think? This is 1 Enoch chapter 1, verse 1. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and the righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. And he took up his parable, and said, Enoch, a righteous man, whose eyes were opened by God, saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angel showed me. And from them I heard everything, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for the remote one, which is for to come. You guys don't think this has anything to do with us? Okie dokie.
You've probably seen and watched this guy often, right? That is named Billy Carson. His real name is William Tyron. Sorry, Billy, we got problem right here. Tyron is his name, and Carson is his playing character name. This is his mugshot for fraud. These type of people are playing characters that you all think coming for a solution. He is mainly preaching these informations on public, talking about aliens and shit. Again, there is no such thing as aliens, but clones. That's what they all got in Area 51. Clones of people that would bring up chaos. They always said that aliens are in there, but they just all made that up to continue the cloning company. We know him as an architect of cover-ups. He is good in covering tracks, and this man needs people like you to do their dirty jobs. He's even telling you about all sorts of UFO stuff. It is all part of major distraction. Let's say, for example, the Project Blue Beam. You will see it around on the sky. A flying saucer, for example. They made it all up, okay? Inside those are clone clowns, letting you know that you can believe in aliens. That's bullshit. To hide what really our ancestors have for us. They create fictitious identity for us to believe it. The job of this person is to hide as much as informations. You have to be very careful on who you are listening to. Some people just pretend to be awakened, but they are just a spy. Lower income, less educated, voiceless people are so much easy to control. And no, poverty is not by accident. It is by design. And we all know who designed it. So keep up. Thank you, CIA, for this information.
Okay, so there's a lot of you guys that probably already know this, but there are some of you that don't. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about it anyways. There is a weird coincidence between the planet Pluto and the Disney character Pluto. Not only that, but Werner von Braun is best friends with Disney, Walt Disney. I will show you. So this is just showing you that the character of Pluto was brought on the scene in 1930s. And this is showing you the discovery date of the planet Pluto. Look down here at the bottom, discovery date, also the year 1930. Now look back up at that picture and look at it, a side profile. Does that look familiar to you guys? Look at it closely. Here's a close-up. Never mind that, yes, it's obviously CGI, but we're going to look past that now and look at the side profile. Does it look familiar? How about now? Or maybe now. When I tell you that Walt Disney and Werner von Braun were best friends, I was not kidding. At the beginning of every single Disney movie, there is a dome that goes over the castle with a rocket that blasts through. On Werner von Braun's tombstone, he has Psalms 19:1, which says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork." Our government, back in 1962, started to try and blast through the firmament, Operation Dominic. If you have not researched Operation Fishbowl or Operation Dominic, I would highly recommend it. Operation Fishbowl came after Operation Dominic. NASA has a serpent tongue that goes right through the logo. How many coincidences do you need before you realize it's all fake? They are making fun of us, and they put it in our faces. These two guys are Freemasons. It's how the Masons work.
Now what if I told you that solar eclipses are only possible on the flat earth model? Now this is the ancient Hebrew conception of the universe, and that the sun and the moon are exactly the same size. And I'm about to prove it to you right now. This is 1 Enoch 72 verse 37. As it rises and it sets, it diminishes not. Talking about the sun, it runs both day and night. Its light is sevenfold brighter than the moon, yet they appear the same size. So the sun and the moon are both equal in size, which is why this is able to happen. This is Isaiah chapter 30 verse 26, and it reads, "The light of the full moon will be like the sun's glare," because we know that the moon produces its own light, and the sun's glare will be 7 times brighter, like the light of 7 days. So we know that the sun and the moon move around in a circuit and eventually line up with each other. And that's how these solar eclipses happen, is because the sun and the moon are exactly the same size, like it said in the book of Enoch. Here's a representation of how they say the earth, the moon, and the sun are during a solar eclipse. But they also tell us that the shadow that is cast is only 70 miles wide. But think about it, if the moon was actually this big in comparison to the earth, the shadow of that eclipse would be a lot bigger than 70 miles. Like the whole world should have seen it. But in reality, the sun and the moon are a lot smaller in size than we have been told. You are not going to want to miss this video. Did you know NASA has a full-size replica of the ISS and their neutral buoyancy lab in Houston, Texas? Does anyone else remember when that astronaut messes up and says, quote, "right here in Houston, Texas"? Well, if you don't, watch this.
Aboard the International Space Station. We design the missions, train the crews, and orchestrate the flights from right here in Houston. Houston was the first to receive words from the surface of the moon, and the next giant leap will also start right here in Houston.
Right here in Houston. right here in Houston.
So I decided to go to Google Earth, and you're not gonna believe it. So you could do this yourself. Just go to Google Earth, type in Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. And you're gonna wanna look for Building 9, which is this building right here. Hit Street View. And you're gonna wanna tap somewhere right in here. Wow. Look at that. Right here in Houston. Scoping it out. Doesn't look like space. But it doesn't stop there. A European Space Agency astronaut was wrapping up a 7-hour-long spacewalk outside the International Space Station when he noticed water leaking into his helmet. Water? I thought space was empty. NASA alarmed that astronaut spacesuits keep filling up with water. I'm starting to think that these guys are not filming in space, but in a pool. Like, do you see the problem here?
So today I'm going to debunk Stingray's little cartoon model and the whole globe, really. If you guys didn't know, there's a day where 99% of the population is in sunlight. So I want you to pay close attention to up here. You can see the whole United States is in sunlight. This is the twilight. Whole South America is in sunlight. All of China, Russia, Japan, Korea, Philippines, Indonesia, little tip of Australia. Keep all that in mind. Little tip of Australia. Oh, and when I screen recorded it, I forgot to turn on my mic and record my voice, but I'll explain it all to you.
Now, it's seeing light. It's not necessarily seeing the sun. So these bands here represent civilian twilight, nautical twilight, and astronomical twilight. Now, it's fair to say that in nautical twilight, you still can't get star readings, really, because it's too light. This is still illuminating the sky here. This definitely is still illuminating the sky, and this is where you won't see the sun anymore. Now, if we look at where California is, which is just here in this band, California can still see the sun. And at this point, so can all of South America, except like the tips in the Pyrenees, I think, where that is, which there ain't a lot of people. So right off the bat, we've got all of the Americas, basically. We come around here, we've got all of Europe. We have all of Africa. We have all of the Middle East. Then we start going across here and we start hitting India. India's got a hell of a lot of people. So even off the bat, we're straight up. And now we're hitting China. And China is still in this band of daylight here. So they're seeing daylight. Russia, here, this bit, that's nighttime, but no one lives in this part of Russia. So what's in darkness? The Philippines, Australia, New Zealand.
Okay, so I want you to notice here, the twilight ends just east of India, somewhere along Bangladesh. And once I zoom in closer, you'll notice Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. You can see all of them. So here you go. You got Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, right here, all in darkness.
So what's in darkness? The Philippines, Australia.
No, that's actually Indonesia.
Australia.
Also, Australia. Look how far this twilight line is away from Australia. Remember? The tip of Australia was lit up.
Russia, here, this bit, that's nighttime, but no one lives in this part of Russia.
That's actually Korea, not Russia. A lot of people live there. So here you go. Here's all the countries and their populations that on Stingray's map were in darkness. Philippines, 115 million. Malaysia, 34 million. Indonesia, 275 million. Korea, 75 million. Japan, 125 million. Thailand, 72 million. Laos, 8 million. Vietnam, 100 million. Cambodia, 17 million. This all equals up to 821 million. That's not included the coast of China, the coast of Russia, and a bunch of other places. So we could easily say that 1 billion people aren't seeing daylight in Stingray's model. So, in Stingray's model, we have being modest, being generous, because we didn't take into account every country, we just grabbed the obvious ones. We have 12.5% in darkness, or 87.5% of the population in daylight. Not 99. So we have a major problem here. So there you go. Stingray's little cartoon model, debunked. Globe, debunked. That's impossible on the globe, and it happens every single year. So, if you guys didn't know, the court case, Flat Earth, Globe Earth, Zen Garcia went to court, Flat Earth won twice. This is why your little computer models don't work. They can't win in court. They don't work in reality. The Earth is flat. It's not a spinning space ball. NASA lies. Space is fake. It's time for us all to grow up. I wish you guys would open your mind, open your eyes a little bit, and progress and evolve in life, because you need to get your head off of this spinning, wobbling, magic fairy tale space ball, because it doesn't exist.
If you ever want to take down the world's internet, this is where to strike. Almost 99% of all internet traffic, including this video, runs on this hidden network of undersea cables. But how do they even put them in place, and how do they fix them? Isn't the ocean like 1,000,000 miles deep and we haven't even fully explored the bottom yet? Do they just let them dangle through the water, float them on the surface, or... So the entire world is connected by these long-ass cables in the ocean, with 493 active cables coming up to a total of 1.5 million kilometers long. Wait, isn't pretty much everything wireless at this point? I honestly thought that like satellites would be our main source of connectivity today, but no. Even the phone in your hand connects to data not by satellite but through cell receiving towers, which are connected by cables. And these cables are installed by ship, which yes, lays them directly on the sea floor by just kind of spooling them out from the back and moving very, very slowly. But sometimes there will be underwater trenches, and having them hang across like this would be prone to breaking. So they just kind of keep unrolling the cable until it reaches as close to the bottom of the trench as it can. Now these cables, they pretty thick, reinforced with multiple layers of protection, as sharks have been found chewing on them, and can sometimes be quite hefty on the inside, as you could imagine, with fiber optic cables nestled safely deep inside of them where the data transfer actually happens. So whenever you message someone across the world, your message is literally traveling through these cables at about the speed of light, since fiber optic uses light pulses that are converted to binary code, which traverses through the deepest depths of our oceans in a couple seconds before getting to the recipient. Accidental breaks in the cables do happen every so often, and they either send an underwater drone like this to repair it, or they just pull that part of the cable out of the water and fix it on a ship before setting it back down. They obviously have a lot of backup cables and alternate paths in place, so even if some evil villain were to cut one of these cables to destroy society, it would just cause internet slowdowns in the area, similar to a traffic jam when a road is closed, and would probably be fixed in a couple days anyway. For now, wired internet connectivity remains king, as it's cheaper and faster than satellite internet like Elon's Starlink, but who knows where the future will take us.
It came in the mail and y'all are opening it with me. Ooh. Smell it. Woo! Here we go.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Idialenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.